Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Reasonably Effective Podcast. I'm 10 Types, as always, joined by Uncommon Fossil.
Hello, glad to be here. I have my ears itching inside my headphones. I just scratched it, and it's itching once again, but I will tough it out and soldier on.
Yeah. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. But today we are talking about Chaos Rising. We actually talked about Chaos Rising last week,
Yep.
but since then, the full set's been revealed, and it's actually pretty interesting. Normally what happens is that the good cards are revealed, and then a bunch of bad cards are revealed later. But in this sense, I'd say that these reveals are pretty good and interesting. And honestly, the earlier ones, like the ones we talked about last week, weren't super powerful. I don't know if you'd agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a bunch of weaker cards. I don't know, 86 cards in total. There were what 20 some cards we knew about last week, I think. So, but we're not doing all the cards. First, we're not doing cards we discussed last week in our tier list, and we're also just dropping out, trying to get a number that's manageable. We've dropped out some cards also, so it's not completely inclusive. Listen to last week's podcast, and if there's cards you think are good, we talk about, just put it in the comments for our YouTube videos.
Yeah, and we can like tell your thoughts there. But I think the cards we didn't include are all pretty bad. There are some cards here that are not good, um, or like not crazy interesting. Though most of them are pretty interesting here. But yes, let's just like hop right into it here. I
Yeah.
guess I'll say it is like a just regular tier list as well. The first card we got here is not everything's loaded. It's a Mega Pyroar EX here. Mega Pyroar EX has a 340 HP. Of course, it is a Mega, so it's a 3-prize stage 1 EX here. And Ferocious Blow for Fire Colorless. It does 80. Then during your opponent's next turn, the fighting Pokemon can't. The fighting Pokemon's attacks do 50 less. And then Big Bang Fire for 2 Fire and a Colorless. You do 290. 10 less for each damage count on this Pokemon. I'll just quickly say I don't think this card's very good, but what are your thoughts?
Well, here's the good thing before we tear it apart is 340 HP on a stage 1. I know it's 3 prizes, but 340 is a very good number. You're not going to get one shot, I don't think. So that's pretty intriguing where it's at. And as long as there's not strong water Pokemon, which right now I don't think there's going to be, at least they're not going to be dominant decks. So
Yeah.
I think that part's okay there. The bad part, though, is these 2 attacks, and it's 3 energies, fire, colorless, so you probably, I don't know. I might for Crispin 1 turn to do the first attack for 80. You take 50 less damage. Then you get hit into, and then you're doing the Big Bang Fire, but already damaged, so your damage output's reduced. So you're hoping to 2-shot them, honestly, and you might not 2-shot them depending how much damage they do. And if you can't 2-shot something with a 3-prize Pokemon, you're definitely losing. And even if you have to 2-shot something with a 3-prize Pokemon, you're probably losing anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you should use this with the Oricorio EX to accelerate, because it's just Fire
Yeah.
Mega, so you can accelerate basic fire to your bench fire Pokemon. Then you still need to switch. I haven't really played with very much Oricorio EX, or I mean, it's not been played that much, right? It's not super powerful.
Right.
Like the Mega Charizards are kind of fun, but they're not super good. So Mega Power EX with Oricorio EX is okay. I think it might be the best use case of it, but that doesn't mean it's amazing. Um, in fact, I'd say it's kind of bad. I mean, 290, because if you're a fresh Mega Pyroar, then you are doing 290, which is like a good amount of damage. But as you're saying, like once you get hit into, it quickly falls off, and then that's it, right? Like then you I guess you
Right.
could while it's compassionate, but you need to get the energies back on, so you have to like double switch or something. So I see this card's like C tier. I mean, it's not like the worst card around. Um, but it's like it's not very inspiring. But in terms of power level, it's like okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think the HP gives it some potential, but it's. I think it isn't going to do great. So it's C tier, and I don't even think ultimately it's going to be top of C tier. We'll probably rank things in the tiers, but that's we're not going to spend a lot of time on that part, though. I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah. And I guess I'll quickly mention going back to the HP part. It's like it's average HP for a Mega. So
Yeah.
for like where it is. So well, it is hot. It's there are a lot of cards like it. Then we got this
Yep.
Delibird up next. This card I think is pretty cool. Um, and yeah, as you can tell from like I'm also laughing, you don't. I don't know. I certainly don't. I don't think see the power in it that I kind of do. Not that I think it's super good, but Delibird can do 40 for 2, but the main thing here is Happy Present for 1 colorless. Both players may attach up to 3 energy cards from the hand to their Pokemon in any way you like. Your opponent will attach first here. And this is interesting. It can accelerate. It is 1 colorless, as I said, so it can go in theoretically any deck, and it can accelerate special energies. We are losing TM Turbo Energize, so I actually think this card's okay. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's good, but I'd say it's interesting. I'd say it has some potential here. It's like an okay energy acceleration Pokemon.
Yeah. Now, first off, you hate energy acceleration Pokemon, right? You
Well,
think
no, I don't
attacking.
like them if they're like Mega Flora EX, where like, oh, turn 2 or turn 3, I'm gonna energy accelerate. Um,
Okay.
but I like, turn 1, I think it's all right. It's not
Yeah.
something you're relying on like for all your energy, but it can be interesting.
Yeah. Okay. First, Delibird is just a cool Pokemon, so
Yeah.
I like him. I think a lot of people like him. 40 for 2 is just horrible. So that's just like an insulting attack there that they even did that.
I think
But
that's above average. That's above average there. Not that it's good, but it is probably above like average for random Pokemon.
okay. But so obviously the first attack here, 90 HP, fine. Single retreat cost of 1. You have to have them in hand though. So when we've talked about, it, you said the great part is, or the potentially great part is, you can accelerate special energies. And if you can accelerate 3 special energies, you could really be doing something for sure. But you have to get them into hand. So
Yeah.
especially if you're doing it turn 1, you're not going to get 3 special energies to hand turn 1 unless you just get lucky, right?
Yeah.
So
Or unless you just have like a ton, in which case it'd be hurting your deck, or you're not getting like the ones you're looking for. If you're running, just like all special energies, then accelerating random special energies isn't super good.
right. I mean, I think there's supporters. You could search out 1 special energy, and that's probably it. And also, we losing um, the ancient item, right? To
Uh,
search for energies,
yeah, Earthen Vessel.
earthen vessel. So getting energies, even basic energies, is going to be harder too. So if you can't even get 3 energies in total, including basic energies, then it's not going to be good. So it's kind of fun. I don't right now. I don't see a great use case for it, and I don't even know with the great use case how successful it's going to be, even if it has a good partner.
Yeah, and I guess we haven't like actually talked about the fact that it helps your opponent as well. Um,
Yeah,
I don't think that's a huge downside for this card because it is like your opponent won't have that much just like energy just in their hand that often, I don't think, or have like a good use case for it because like if they're relying on this, then that's like really bad to rely on your opponent like helping you
yeah.
set up. Um, so they're probably either in a fine position or like a bad position anyways. So it's probably not super meaningful, but it certainly could help them, which is bad, right,
Yeah.
for you.
Well, it's definitely going to help your opponent sometime, right? Just getting a free energy acceleration occasionally would be nice. If you had the option of every time your opponent takes a turn to attach an energy from your hand, you would love that, right? So, getting energy in play is always an issue. So, yes, you'll get much more value out of it because you're built for it. But it does help your opponent, so that's a concern too. But ultimately, I'm not sure even aside from that how good it's going to be. I'm not really seeing the use case right now. I got to say.
Yeah, and I don't think it's super good. I think I think it's kind of like Team Turbo Energize, which is a good card that we're losing. It's not the
Yeah,
same, but it has some similarities there. I'd put it in C tier. I'd actually put it above Mega Pyroar, but like pretty close. They're obviously
yeah,
very
I think
different
that's
cards, but
yeah, I think that's fair. C tier and put it top of C tier for the moment. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too.
next we got Avalugg here. Avalugg is a stage 1. We've seen a lot of cards, or like a good chunk of cards like this. We got Iceberg Destruction. The other attack's 160 for 4, which is fine. I don't know. Not something you're really ever going to use, but and then it does have 160 HP as well and 4 retreat, so it's a big Pokemon here. But Iceberg Destruction for 1 water, you just go the top 6 cards of your deck. You do 60 for each basic water energy discarded in this way. Um, so you want to play a bunch of water energies and then just kind of like do big damage with this. I guess I will
Yeah,
mention that even if you hit 6, there's a chance you don't get the knockout against like Mega Venusaur or like there's a few things you aren't knocking out. But yeah, obviously we see cards like this. They're generally bad, but they're fun, and this one's like okay, I guess.
right. They're fun. They're generally not super successful. I would say, and the retreat cost is 4. I don't know if you mentioned that. I closed my tab by accident, so I was like scrambling around to try
Yeah.
to get that set up again. So retreat cost, and like you said, the second attack not very good. Obviously, it's going to get potentially stuck in the active. So if you have this as, because I think you kind of would put it in a deck that wants to get cards in the discard pile, right? Whether it's looking to get energies in particular in the discard pile, or whether it's just looking to get cards into other types of cards in the discard pile. Which obviously there's decks that like that, and then you want to switch to something else later in the game, but then this can get stuck in the active and not doing much potentially, so that's a danger too. So, and like you said, cards like this, they're fun. I mean, a lot of I think I like them. I think a lot of people do, but try them out and they generally don't work well. So I don't see this is going to work any better than ones in the past.
Yeah, I think it's like fine. I guess the probably we have one that's actually I think good in standard, which is Misty's Gyarados, which does that's 7 cards and a 7 times multiplier for Misty's Pokemon. Um, and you can also like use Misty Psyduck to put it like back on top. So yeah, this is like if that and that wait, that card has more HP as well. Um,
Yeah.
that card like and that card's like not good at all, really. I don't know. I feel like it's maybe a little underrated, but it's not very good, right? But ultimately,
No.
yeah, that this probably won't be good. I guess we will mention, or I'll mention big catch net or whatever. The item
Right.
that gets 3 in combination, or no, not 3 in combination, up to 3 water Pokemon and 3 basic water energies gets you water energies. If it was 6 in combination, that'd be better because you want to be getting back a lot.
Right.
Wait a second, we have energy recycler. Wait, is energy recycler rotating?
That's a good
Um,
question. I gotta call that one up.
No, it's definitely not rotating. So you could energy recycler, which is like probably like decent with where is it with Avalugg here, but it's not
Yeah.
like realistically super good. Obviously these guys are inconsistent, and I think you're going to be coming up short a lot, and also not setting up a lot as well.
Yeah, I mean, I like stage one single prizes for one energy, so it ticks those boxes, but just making it all work, I don't think is good. So I look, get into the tier list. I think this is the worst of the cards we've talked about so far.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say I'd still keep it in C tier. I think this is what we did last time. We had a lot of cards in C tier, but I think it's like okay. I don't think the gap between these cards is particularly big, to be honest.
All right. I mean, I might have put it a D tier, but we can put it bottom of C tier. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And then we got 2 cards here. I guess I'll say there's kind of like 4 of them, but we also I
Yeah.
think we're supposed to talk about them
The
last week.
the Pokemon is Deoxys, by the way. I don't think you said that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Deoxys here, of which there's 4 forms, and they don't really interact with each other at all. But there's 4 Deoxys in the set, which is something. We're going through which ones are we going through? I don't even know the names of the form. The one's Speed, and the one's like Defense or something. I know it has Psy Protect, but anyways, we'll talk about
Right.
that one first. The Psy Protect one, which is just, of course, Psychic Basic here with like whatever stats. This one actually has High Retreat, which is like bad, but for 3 energy, 2 which are psychic, you do 80, and then during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon that have an ability. By the way, as Uncommon Fossil mentioned at the start of the episode, we're not talking about all the cards from the set. We had to decide which ones we'd include and not include. We had a lot of debate about these Deoxys. A lot of them were
Yes.
like really on the fence. And so, anyways, this is the one I like. So I guess I'll actually no. You tell me why this card is bad.
All right, well, I'll save the argument of why it's good. I mean, well, look, it walls. That's the good thing. I don't think 80 for 3 is what anybody can get excited about for it. Um, but so it does wall. You got to get 3 energies, so that's a problem. Honestly, the 3 energies is a big problem. I gotta say that's probably the biggest thing. We have the item that gets it onto the bench, and you can switch. Right, it's a basic. So if you're running a basic deck with a bunch of psychic stuff, and you got the Latias EX, you can make it work. But you have what's the item, by the way, that accelerates to psychic
Wondrous
Pokemon?
patch.
Wondrous patch, but you only can do that 4 times the course of the game. So if you're relying on that, you would have to, I guess, be in a toolbox style deck, and then where this Deoxys was the attacker for that game. That's the best case scenario. I just don't think it's, but you're still vulnerable to being gusted around. We don't have rope though, because that was one of the things before type of this. You could get
Yeah.
roped and then bossed up. So
We do have
it's less
repel,
likely.
I will say.
Yeah, there's ways to deal to it can happen, but it's a little less than it's sometimes. So I just think it's not good enough. And I think the power, the damage, you're not, you're like what, three, four-shotting Pokemon. So you really better hope that wall holds if you're like four-shotting Pokemon.
Yeah. I do think there are some decks that could get walled with this. I'm thinking of because obviously it's post rotation. Um, this card is worse than Course of Master Ogerpon EX as well. Course of Master Ogerpon EX is a very good card
Yeah.
though, so being worse than that doesn't mean it's bad, and this will be important after Ogerpon rotates. So, um, and on top of that, we've seen cards like this be good in the past. This isn't like me just being like, oh, I think this card has some potential, but like no, we saw Alone Vulpix. We started being a pretty decent Pokemon. Um,
Yeah.
but ultimately, the damage isn't great, and I don't know. I guess this card probably isn't very good. I don't know. I do think it is still like on a similar level to a lot of the other cards we talked about in this kind of like probably not going to see play. I feel like of the four we've talked about so far, this is probably the most likely to see play, um, at like a high level. But the least likely to be, a super meaningful card on its own. But I didn't see like Mega Dancy, like Dusknoir decks, which I haven't been paying too much attention to. But with that deck, you're going to be like running Wonders Patch, which you were mentioning, and then like a Psychic Toolbox. And so with a deck like that, then this is interesting. But looking at the list, this one here runs two Wonders Patch. I don't know what they normally run. This one runs four, and then you do have Telepathic Energy to like kind of find stuff as well. Um, so I don't know. I'm like kind of a believer in this card. I don't think it's going to be super super amazing, but I could definitely see it, as I said, seeing like actual like legitimately good play.
I mean, I have been playing Mega Absol box lately, so which is a basic deck, which obviously if that is I think could be a good deck post rotation too. So if that's around a lot, then something like this that walls it off is very good. We do have Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon for the next
Yeah. Wait.
year, right?
So
Or
sorry.
more.
What? No. What? Mega Absol? Well, it rolls Mega Kangaskhan. Doesn't wall Mega Absol. Doesn't
Oh,
happen to be.
that's true. It doesn't. You're right. So, um, for the next year, the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon's the best card. Obviously, it's after that rotates this becomes more important. Um, what's it gonna? It's gonna go in some box style decks if for the right things. So, so you want to put it in C tier again, right?
I
I
do
guess
want to
that's where you're
put it in
going with
C
this,
tier. Yeah. I do think it's probably. I'd put it. I don't know. I honestly have no idea where I'd put it in C tier, but yeah.
I mean, we can put it top of C tier. I think you'd probably like that, right?
I guess, yeah. I have like no idea where it belongs in this tier. I do think it belongs in this tier. And I'm more convinced now because I'm looking at the other cards and I'm like, yeah, I have no idea like how the ordering of like any of these should go at this point. Um, but yeah. So, anyways, you want to talk about your Deoxys now?
My Deoxys. Yes, my Deoxys is the Deoxys with Psi Speed. I guess these now are the attacks named correct or not? I guess
I
they
think this
are.
one's probably the most likely. I think we've seen attacks named like this in
Um,
the past, and it is the speed form. I know that.
right. But because like these are translations, I don't know if we have the exact name, right? That's a bit of an issue. So I'll just put that. So this is the Deoxys 100 HP. It's a free retreat cost. Back in the day, a couple years ago, when any Pokemon that didn't have retreat, you was seeing play because it was like, oh, it's a pivot, right? So it's a pivot. So I still live in those days. I got to say, but it's 100 HP, which that's harder to get in play. I will grant you that. But once it's in play, you like it, and we do have the Pokey. What
Pad.
is it? Dex Pokepad, yeah. To get it. So decks that are playing that can get it just fine. And it's got the attack size speed, does 30, and you draw till you have 5 cards in hand. So drawing till so it's a good starting Pokemon potentially. If you play a copy or two, you make it your starter. You're going second. You attach the one energy. You give it a little poke, and you draw some cards, setting things up. And its HP's high enough with things that are spreading damage are going to have to either really focus on it to get it knocked out, or it's going to take multiple turns to get through it. So I kind of like it. I think it has some value. Is going to have value in some decks.
Yeah, I think it's like kind of okay. It's with the higher HP we mentioned spread. There's also like Lunatone, or there's also Solrock or like Phanrotom, which are gonna
Yeah.
survive. Which is like kind of cool. So yeah, it's okay. I don't think the draw is very good. It's kind of hard to pare your hand down, but I don't like despise this. Um, then the damage is like something. So ultimately. Yeah, I don't think it's very like the upside isn't like super high, but I don't hate this card. But where do you put it?
Yeah, and you're one-shotting Badoo, so I think it's a C tier card as well.
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah,
say.
that's kind of what I was thinking.
And again, I think I think it's is I mean I think it's better than the other Deoxys. So how about we put it behind the other Deoxys? I know you like the other one,
Yeah.
so we'll make it
Okay,
second in the
I'm
C
good with
tier.
that. Good with that.
Okay.
Okay, so hopefully we have cards out of C tier. Look at the next one. I don't. We might. Um,
Well, eventually we will.
surely,
I'm pretty.
surely.
All
But
right, so the next Pokemon is Crobat, Stage 2, single pricer, 130 HP. It's got an attack for one, Darkness Energy does 80. Your opponent active Pokemon is confused and poisoned. And that's not a bad attack, I gotta say. Retreat cost is 1. Weak to lightning. I guess that doesn't matter. You're getting blown up anyway. But the ability, nighttime maneuvers. Once during a turn, if the Pokemon's the active spot, this is what makes the Pokemon the best thing. You can use this ability. You search your deck for a card. You shuffle your deck and put that card on top of it. So you search your deck and put something on top of your deck. Now it has to be the active. So assuming you're not attacking with it, the attack's not terrible. If you have Darkness Energy and you're playing it, you'll end up attacking with it occasionally, but you're going to send it up to the active after your Pokemon last turn was knocked out, which it happens. You're going to put something on top, and then if you need something like Pheasantipede EX, then you get the cards. Then you get that card. So obviously Pidgeot EX is a lot better than a stage 2 that you actually get the card in hand. That's rotating. This has to be. First, it goes to the top of the deck, and it has to be in the active spot. That's a two. That's a tough one, right? Because we have the Mega that you could Kangaskhan is right. Is that the one that you draw 2 cards if it's in the active? Is that right?
yeah,
So like you can't pair it with that because they both have to be in the active to do their thing. So I don't love the fact that it only goes to the top of the deck and it has to be active spot. But I think it will have some value. I don't love it though. It's a stage 2, so it's kind of this might end up being a C tier again.
yeah. I will say there's a few other things I have to say about it. So you can pair this with Pekron EX and Air Balloon, to allow you
Yeah.
to use this ability every turn without you do need to switch, but it kind of is covered for you, which isn't like that hard to do. The hardest part of that is
Yep.
getting the Crobat set up. And getting a card on top of your deck every turn is quite nice. I guess I will also mention, because pre-rotation, you weren't really gonna get this disrupted if you put it on top. Like you weren't gonna get judged or like
Right.
Harlequined, but you could post-rotation. So because pre-rotation you get IO noted, then you just draw into that card if you didn't put it into your hand anyways. So that's like a thing that I figure is worth mentioning.
Yep.
Um, and then the previous evolutions are actually pretty interesting here as well. The basic does have free retreat, which is, as you mentioned, kind of good. Um, and I guess usable attack. But then you have the Golbat here as well. This one, I guess I will say like specifically the basic and the stage 2. I mean, they have low HP. But then Golbat here has for 1 darkness an attack that makes it immune to damage from basics next turn, which actually is. I mean, you mentioned
Yeah.
Absol, and that can be like this could be really good against those style of decks. I guess you mentioned with that, of course, I'm sorry, upon EX, and that will get through this. But like, it is still wait, actually, do they play that? I don't remember how the decks look in post rotation exactly. But anyways, um, yeah, I think the line is a pretty good line. Um,
Yeah.
I do think it is still C tier, I guess, like you were kind of saying. But I do think it is. I think it has the highest potential of any of the cards so far. I don't actually expect it to um actually see like good play, but it is an interesting and good card.
Yeah. All the other thing is Relicanth I was checking does not rotate, so attack from previous evolutions. And the Golbat, which does well off basics, is good. Potentially, is a nice option. So if you're playing an evolution deck with rare candies that plays Relicanth, then this is an option, right? All the attack is one darkness energy, so not terrible there. I don't know that, but the use case really is going to be rare candy decks like that with Pheasantipity, as you guaranteed one card off Pheasantipity, which is pretty good, but it's only going to be for rare candy based decks, and you still got to have to think about, do you really want to use the deck space for at least four, at least two basics and probably two stage twos or something, right? To make it reasonably reliable. So it's the best, but it's probably going to be C tier again, maybe top of C tier.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I do. I also one last thing I want to say. I'm just thinking, I'm like, I'd love to play this with Team Rocket's like the Golbat and the Crobat, and you can't. I'm just
Mhm.
like, if they
Yeah.
weren't Team Rocket's Pokemon, they'd be so much cooler. Um, but anyways, yeah. So I'd say top of C tier. I completely agree with you there. Then we got Garbodor. Garbodor is interesting here. It's stage one. The attack's 100 for 3, but then it does have 3 retreat, and that's like not so good. But then if
No.
your opponent's active has any Pokemon tools attached to it, it does 20 less damage there. This will stack with multiple Garbodors. What are your thoughts on this card?
Yeah, it's interesting because you're gonna just want to get multiple ones and stick them on your bench. Now, of course, they gust you up and you're stuck in the active spot, and that's not good. Retreat cost of 3, and of course, your opponent knows that the Garbodor is in play, so they know not to attach tools. But it could stop things from being one shot, right? You could certainly save your 2 or 3 prize Pokemon from being one shot to move from a one shot to a two shot. That is a big deal potentially. Um, the question is, are depending on the meta with the right, you have the deck and you're concerned about one or two other matchups, and this tilts it in your favor, so you're not getting one shot. It could see some use, but there's a lot of ifs and a lot of it's probably a bit of reaching in there too.
Yeah, like this can kind of act like a jamming tower, or like even like better than a jamming tower against like Brave
Yeah,
Bangle. Well, I guess not even better. They still get some extra damage, but um, it is somewhat interesting. In reality, I think like the best tool is Air Balloon. This does like nothing against Air Balloon, and it
right.
is like a good amount of setup. I mean, not like crazy setup. It's less than a lot of the other cards we talked about, but the upside is like super minimal. As you said, your opponent cannot attach the tools. If you're like kind of force them not to attach, that is good. But
Right.
I'd say this card's pretty bad. I would say it is the worst of the cards we've seen so far, and I do think we are. I'd put this one in D.
All right. I think this might be the most interesting of the cards though, because this effect is interesting, right? It's not
Yeah,
something
it's like unique.
right. It's unique, but you're right. It's probably not. It's not good. So I think D tier is fair with it. I like it. Garbodor is just a fun Pokemon anyway, and the ability's interesting, but yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. Next, we got Metagross here. Metagross, I will quickly mention, which isn't very important. Of course, evolves from Metang, and we have in Standard, and this is post rotation, but the Metang that is good is not rotating. It's from Temporal Forces. Lets you look at the top 4 and then get any metal you find there onto your Pokemon. And of course, that's useful for this Metagross, which is a metal Pokemon needing a bunch of energy. First of all, for 1 metal, you do 60. Your opponent switches to the bench. And then for 4 here, you do Metallic Hammer, which does 150. We can discard 3 metal from this Pokemon. If you do, you do 150 more. So 300 there for 4 um, is okay. I don't know.
Oh no! Well, first off, 300 on no, you want to say 300 on a single prize Pokemon is awesome, right?
Oh,
That's
it's
what you got to
broken.
say.
Broken.
Well, it is. 300 on a single prize is good.
Yeah.
But then we get all the downsides. It's a stage 2, so that's not so good. You need 4 energy. That's very bad. You have to discard the energy, 3 of the energies. That's not good. So even if you probably get one shot, but if you don't get one shot, you now have to get all those energies back and play again. So you have to evolve to a stage 2, and I got to get 4 energies on like every turn. And that's just going to be really terrible to do, right? And I don't know if you mentioned the first attack does 60. Your opponent switches their active with their bench. So, that may have some value just to if your opponent's like forcing up some wall or something. You don't really want the active. You can get it out of there. But it's really the second attack. And it's just going to be really tough to pull off. And I don't see it being consistent on its own. It's just you're not going to stream attacks with it well enough, I don't think. And I don't think it fits in with some other metal deck, right? I don't think that there is some,
I guess it could be like just a one of stage 2 in a Metang deck.
Yeah.
Where I think it actually fits like okay. I think it's like an all right Metang, but it's kind of like all in this way that's kind of probably not gonna work. But I mean, it's doable if you got like if you got like 3 Metangs, you'll probably hit this.
Yes, I was just looking like so Metang hasn't seen play since competitively since the V Star Dialga rotated. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah,
I was just wondering if anybody had tried it.
Yeah, Metang's like kind of not. I mean, it's not consistent. It's an okay stage 1 energy acceleration Pokemon, but there's like better ones, like Electric, which like doesn't really see that much play anyways.
Yeah. So okay. So we're not loving this card, right? So is this card a D tier? I don't certainly not higher than C, but I don't know if it makes to C tier.
I actually think I would put in like the bottom of C tier. I might even put it above. I don't know exactly where I put it. Like it's okay, I think. I mean, I don't think it's a good card, but I think in terms of how it fits into the decks, like kind of reminds me of actually a lot of the Mega Stage 2s, which are like one-ofs within these decks that are playing the line already, and I think this fits in decently well there. So I'd actually put this in C tier. I'd probably put it above Mega Pyroar.
You think?
Somewhere like I don't know. I don't have a strong preference where it goes.
All right, that's fine. I'll put a Mega Pyroar. I'm not. The thing is, you compared it to these Mega Stage 2s that go like some of these Stage 2 evolutions of EXs that go in decks, but it's just not anywhere as good as those.
I think those are.
So
I'd say that all those are kind of bad. Like
okay.
Like Mega Gardevoir, I think is like not a good card. Or Mega Charizard, or the other Mega Charizard. I mean, they're like okay, and they are stronger, but they are also 3 prizers.
Yeah, I just don't know. You're gonna be hoping you can actually attack with it. If you have a turn, you just need to attack with it, right? To get the energies. But okay, so C tier above Mega Pyroar. That's fine there.
Then we got one of my favorite cards in this set. This card is not good, I'm not gonna lie. But I guess I'll start with Special Whip for 2 metal, do 70, and then if it has any special energy attached, it does 70 more, which is actually like kind of okay. I guess. There's a metal special energy, which is actually good. I think we talked about it before. Last week. But then Prank Drop is the ability which says once during your turn, or sorry, no, during your opponent's turn, if this is discarded from your deck by essentially by anything from your opponent, then your opponent discards the top 8 cards of their deck. So if it gets milled, then you mill your opponent 8, which is something.
Well, it's fun, right?
It's fun. It's fun, yeah.
It's Ferrothorn. I don't know that you said that, by the way.
I think I did, but I don't remember. I kind of skipped over some of the stats because I don't think you'll actually be like, even if you're playing this in your deck, like you're not actually, playing it onto the board, right?
No, you're keeping it in your hand. The attack, the second attack. You're keeping it in your deck.
Hard to do.
It has to be in your deck. And if you get to your hand, you need to discard it, and then you need to put it back into your deck again. And yeah, if mill becomes big, which it almost never is big, then this becomes a play. And obviously you don't need the stage 1, so it's basic. You have your. I mean, you don't need your basic, right? Sorry, this stage 1. So yeah, you can put 1 or you can put 4 of these. We have the Crobat. You get with the Crobat, you get this on top of your deck. Your opponent mills you, and boom, they lose the top 8 cards of their deck. So super awesome.
Put 2 on top with Siphon X Code Breaking. Then they mill 16. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just not gonna happen, right?
Yeah, this card's like really bad. Basically. On top of that, we haven't even said like milling 8 cards to your opponent. I mean, I guess it's kind of good, but like if you're not playing mill, then milling your opponent is like it can disrupt them, but like that's about it.
Yeah. Well, some of those mill decks, they had to go really aggressive, right? The previous ones, like was it the Luxury or whatever? I don't remember that they had to set up opponents were like digging fat or deep in their early turns, and honestly, they were getting down pretty small. Because I recall playing against those, I could just kind of, if I slow played it, it became a really close race as to who was going to deck out first because they were discarding so much of their deck in the first couple turns.
Yeah, but that's because the deck's like bad, not because like it's a play pattern. They like it's like oh they like have to go for it. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, so like realistically, this is even if it triggers, it's not like super good in my opinion. It's just saying like maybe you'll like deck them out, but yeah, this card's
Right.
really
No, and
bad.
right, and if you're gonna even thought that you'd see mill and it was useful, you're gonna need to play multiple copies of a card that's complete is a dead card, right, in your deck. So that which means you're just gonna lose your other games too. So, is this gonna be F tier then?
Yeah, probably. I could almost make the case that the attack keeps it out of F tier, but like no one's ever gonna play this for the attack. So I'd say yeah, I'd put it in F tier. I think it should go in F tier. I think it makes sense.
Okay, let's make it F tier. Hey, in a world where, but now we have the counter to mill, so maybe they're planning to make like the busted mill deck for the next set, and then this will shoot up the tier list at that
The
point.
counter for mill when you're also playing mill, presumably, right? Um,
Yes.
best for the mirror. Yeah. Anyways, now we got Dragalge, or Mega Dragalge EX here. This is the other new Mega. This one's better than Pyro, I think. It's more interesting. I don't think Pyro is very interesting. But this one has two attacks. We got Corrosive Liquid. Oh, it's Dragon Soul, 330 HP. Of course, no weakness as well, which is nice. Well, no weakness in quotes. Then Corrosive Liquid for two colorless. You discard all tools and special energy from all your opponent's Pokemon. And then you got Pernicious Poison, which says for Water or Darkness, your opponent's active is poison, and you put 16 damage counters on it instead of one between turns. So, what are your thoughts on this card?
And there is no single price Dragalge in format now. I was just checking that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. So is an option, right? You stick this. Look, discarding all tools and special energies is a big deal. It's colorless, so you can use Crispin to power it up. Even the second attack, use Crispin because it's two different types of energy. So there's going to be times that first attack is useful in matchups. So I think so. That's interesting there. It's not going to be that often though. That's going to be that good. You're not going to win games with it generally. And then the second attack, poison is a lot of fun, I will say. And obviously it does let you get rid of all the air balloons. So potentially, if you're playing this, your opponent starts getting air balloons. Boom! In the middle of the game, you blow up all their air balloons. It's three prizes, of course, so you can't. So you get one knocked out, but obviously you can't afford a second one to get knocked out. Placing all these poison damage counters is fun, I will say. So it's appealing. I don't think it's gonna be all that good though.
Yeah, I actually will mention here that potentially an expanded could be good. Um, because
Because you can buff the poison, right?
oh well, I was just saying Reggie Draco because where
Oh,
every deck's like
yeah,
double Dragon Energy to Reggie Draco, and it could be good. I don't know.
yes,
But yeah, you could buff the poison, which is kind of funny. You can also, I mean, poison damage is also better than regular damage. I think. I mean, like it is because it knocks out between turns. Could be knocked out into your turn, which can be good. Obviously, then your
yeah.
opponent has a chance to switch. But yeah, Mega Dragalge EX is it's a cool card. I don't think it's super good. I don't know which attack's better. I think Corrosive Liquid within a control deck could be good. I mean, we saw Veltal with a similar attack, but there's on a basic, um,
Right.
and a single prizer there. So yeah, I'd say this card's not. I guess it is probably a C tier card. Um, I like it, but I don't think it's super good.
No, I mean, look, I think it's C tier. It's not. I would like to make it better than C tier, but I don't think it is. But I also don't think it's worse than C tier, right? It's somewhere in the C tier. This one's more playable than a lot of the cards in C tier, I think, potentially, right? It, because it's an interesting one. So I think it's in near the top end of C tier somewhere.
Yeah, I'd put it actually at the top. I think it's. I mean, currently the top of C tier is like Crobat, which is like cool, but
Yeah.
it's not that good. Um, okay, now we got another dragon Pokemon here. This is Goodra with the attack, which was 160, then mills one from yourself for Water Psychic, but
Yep.
then you have the ability Slimy Slip, which by the way doesn't stack, and it says when your opponent's active retreats, they flip a coin. If tails, they don't retreat. Presumably using their retreat for the turn, and then your opponent doesn't discard the energy. So this is annoying. Um, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a card for, I would think, a control style deck, right? Or a stall deck, right? Because it sits on your bench. I would think you're not using it for the attack, probably. You're using it to sit on the bench, and you're going to get something stuck in your opponent's active spot, and then either you're going with that mill deck, or you're going with something that can hit the bench, perhaps with this to get something stuck, or a control style deck, and you're just making it that much tougher for opponent to switch and to get attacks off, right? That's the value of it. So, and those type of things, they exist. They're not the great decks now, and it's a stage two. It's a coin flip. Even within that type of deck, I don't think it's great, but it's obviously a consideration for those type of decks.
Yeah, I really don't like control effects stapled onto coin flips. People get annoyed by control. Already at times, I like control. I think it can be interesting to play with or against it, but I don't like coin flips, and I think they kind of compound. So in terms of power level, I think it's kind of okay for control. Um, but I don't want it. I don't want to say it's good, so I kind of want to put it in D tier, but I do think it is maybe in C tier. I don't think it's
I'd say,
higher than
look,
that.
yeah, and I don't think controls that good right now. And hopefully this doesn't see a lot of play because it's not fun. A card like this in format, but I think it's in C tier, towards the bottom end of C tier.
Yeah, I'd put it. Where do you put it?
I mean, I could even stick it at the bottom of C tier. It's somewhere low C tier.
Okay, yeah, we'll slap it at the bottom there. Then we got Tauros here. This is a kind of cool card. For 2 colors, you do Crowd Gathering, which says choose one of your opponent's Pokemon, flip a coin for each of your Pokemon with Tauros in its name. This 50 times the number heads to that Pokemon. This is intended, I guess, to be paired with a Paldean Tauros, which is like damage
Right.
based on Tauros with damage counters on the name, including Paldean Tauros and regular Tauros. And then yeah, this is able to theoretically do a bunch of snipe, but it's like kind of random. Kind of reminds me of the Mega Zygarde, which is like super bad. They're like different, but they have some similarities. Um, Certainly vibe wise, I think. But yeah, I'd say this card is not super good. What are your thoughts though?
Well, first, I was the one that you didn't even want it in today's tier list, right? So you
I
don't
think I
think it's
did. I
good.
think I wanted it, but I don't think it's very good.
Okay. I mean, it's fun, I think, and we have the Paldean Tauros. So it also is like the Paldean Tauros that walls off basics for 3 energy. So that or the basic can't attack the next turn. So you obviously, so we had the Paldean Tauros. So we're getting 6 Tauruses in play, hopefully, and then you're flipping coins. So you're averaging 150, right? And you have to have 2 energies attached. So um, 2 energies, and you're doing 150. That's just not good enough, right? I will grant you that, and that's assuming
I
you
mean,
can
that's
get
okay,
your
honestly, on a basic single prizer and snipe,
yeah.
but
That's true. That's the good thing is you can hit the bench as well. So what you'd like to do is have something. This is where the Goodra comes into play, right? And your opponent. This actually is good. The Goodra fits well too, right?
then you're
Because
not
you want to
playing
get
six
something.
Tauros.
That's true. But if you can get something stuck, you're right. You're right. That probably isn't good. So, you have, if you gust up, we have the, was it the gravity gemstone? Am I completely
Uh,
wrong on that?
yeah, I think that's right.
I don't know if it's surviving rotation. I haven't
Yeah, and I'm pretty
paid.
sure it is. I think it was Stellar Crown. I remember Stellar Crown. I was like, there's so much control stuff in this set.
Yeah,
It's
it's an
not
H.
good.
So yeah, so you get something stuck. Ideally, you hit the bench. Doing 150 to the bench off a basic is very good. 2 energies, so you're gonna have to be crisping. So therefore, if you can't be getting one shot, because if you get one shot consistently, you're not going to stream your attack. So that's the big problem. So it probably has some intrigue to me, but it has a lot of downside. So it's probably going to be a C tier again, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, really, I don't think this card's very good. Like, I think theoretically it could be good. Like 150 snipe for 2 colors on a basic is good. Really, I don't think it will be at that level very often. Because your board's gonna you want your board to all be Tauros, and
Right.
you're not having any draw there, right? And then you mentioned Crispin, which also isn't draw. So
Right. You can't play Pheasantipity, so you think it's D tier is what you're getting at then, right?
yeah, I kind of want to get cards out of C tier, right?
No,
But
I
I'm fine
agree.
with the C tier. It's probably like around the Goodra area.
Yeah. So So I want to make it. I'm gonna put it above Goodra, right? I'd rather see
Yeah,
people playing this than Goodra,
yeah.
as I'm sure you would too.
Um, then we actually have a good card here. Well, okay, we got like a knockout card, but we
A
have a good
bad
card.
card representing a good card.
Yeah. So we got Watchog here. Watchog has low kick 54 and colorless. Then unannounced check for 3 colorless. Flip a coin, or sorry, flip 3 coins if any your has like your opponent's hand, and choose that many. The amount of cards there equal to the number of heads. Your opponent shuffles those into their deck. Um, and so this actually, because we're going to talk about the Patrat, the basic, which will see play. And so the
Yeah.
Watchog will probably also see play. It doesn't add to it too much, but it's kind of annoying. As I said, I don't love coin flip effects tied to these control Pokemon, but so we got Patrat with the ability Watchful Eye. Says if this Pokemon is in play, you and your opponent can't move damage counters to another Pokemon. Obviously, stopping Monkey Door here. It is a 70 HP basic as well, which is good with one retreat.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say this card's good. I don't think it's like S tier good. We'll talk about where we think it falls, but it is definitely, it's a counter Monkey Dory. It's not really doing much else, I don't think. There's the Ninetales in the set, which didn't make the cut. Or the Sableye that we talked about a lot before the podcast. But yeah, it's obviously a Monkey Door counter. Yeah, what are your thoughts on this card?
All right, first, let me talk about the Watchog for a second. I think the first attack with the coin flip, you flip 3 coins for 1, is pretty good for a control style deck. In that, yes, it's a coin flip, but you're usually gonna hit at least 1 head, which means you're gonna, besides getting rid of something, which shuffles ends, you're not milling, but you're controlling. But also you're looking at their hand, which obviously control players like that a lot. So. I do think it has value in control decks, but I don't think the Watchog's going to get a ton of play. Patrat will, or it might, right? It stops Monkey Dory, which is a big deal, so it'll get play. And certainly, like if Dragapult, you're worried about Dragapult, which you should be, right? Can play Monkey Dory, and which helps with that. So this is good with that. But because this is an ability, if your opponent's playing Monkey Dory Frostlass, and the Frostlass is surviving rotation, the one with the freezing shroud, it's gonna blow up your Patrat too. So if you're stopping Monkey Dory, your opponent's response deck building wise is to put in Frostlass, because then you're in bigger trouble than they are. So it could be an interesting dynamic, I will say, but it's a good card. It will see play for sure.
Yeah, also I will say Monkey Dories oftentimes go back and forth. And a
Yeah,
Dragapult can play Monkey Dory. I personally don't think that's super powerful. I think Monkey Dory is actually super powerful against Dragapult. I think Patrat actually makes Dragapult better. And I'd probably play Patrat and not Monkey Dories personally. If you know me, I think Monkey Dory is very overrated. Like I know, like there are people who've been like, I don't know, people just like stop like. I don't know. People just like start people like to exaggerate. Exaggerating is fun, but like people just go like crazy over Monkey Dory. They're like, yeah, this card like needs to be like banned and it's like super broken. Like it's like it's a good card. It's like a fun card. But yeah, I mean Monkey Dory. I think this Patrat is fine. It is Monkey Dories often like kind of go back and forth between 2 people, so it does stop your own Monkey Dory as well. So I wouldn't really ever run this alongside Monkey Dory. Obviously, you wouldn't play them together, but like get them and play together. But in terms of decks, I wouldn't include them in the same deck either. I don't think there are too many decks super heavily reliant on Monkey Dory. You mentioned Frostlass, which the Patrats can die. And
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, Mega Absol usually plays some Monkey Dories too. That
yeah,
type of deck.
that's true. I don't know. I still think it can be sketchy there.
Yeah, the Marnie's Grimmsnarl obviously that's the
Uh,
one deck that can
yeah,
actually use it.
yeah, with the Frostlass there. And
Yeah,
then um, I was gonna say, which I think I've now forgotten. But yeah, anyways,
sorry.
like no, it's all good. Probably wasn't like super meaningful, but yeah, Patrat's like fine though. I'd put it in B tier where I'd put it.
E tier. Okay, and we're putting the Watchog, even though it's really the Patrat's the big one. I mean, if you want to put an A tier, I could even it's because it's gonna see play, right? It's gonna see actually a good amount of play, is what I would imagine.
I do think so. I think it will be. I mean, people. I think you agree that people overrate Monkey Dory. People which is like, obviously people like say all sorts of stuff online. We say, also stuff online, but like in actual gameplay, I see people like commit, like if they're playing Dragon Ball, I see them like get a bunch of Monkey Dories and attach to a bunch of Monkey Dories and like not attack with their Dragon Ball because all their energy's on their Monkey Dory and then just like lose. Like people overrate it so much in games. But having counter is nice. I do think it is like a good card. I do think it, as I said, helps Dragon Ball. Because you have a counter to Monkey Dory there, which is like nice because you know, Monkey Dory like can negate a lot of the spread damage.
Right, and it actually makes it worse because they're weakening your Pokemon too. So, yeah. So you want to put it B tier then?
Yeah, I'd put it B tier. I think it's high B tier. I think it'll see play. The Patrat.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's comparing. I'd kind of compare it to like Shaman or Psyduck, and I'd say it's probably a little worse than those cards. I don't know about Shaman. I think conceptually I'd say it's a lot worse than Shaman, but obviously Shaman in practicality is kind of meh. But
Okay.
yeah, I would say it's probably around there. I could see it in A tier, but I would I'd put it in B tier. And you like
I,
can kind of see him.
yeah. Well, here's what I'll say. I will put it B tier, but I think that between this and B tier and the top of C tier, there's a big gap, right? This because the C tier cards aren't going to see much play. This is going to see a good amount of play and get that a lot more value.
Yeah, I think this will see more play than value. But anyways, yeah. So it's
Maybe.
a good card though. Then we've got Cinccino EX. This one's like not as good. This one does it's another control coin flip card. Well, not like really, but kind of.
Yeah, it's not really
'Cause
control, but
yeah, but it has a stally ability because you don't take
yeah.
damage half the time. When I say half the time, I mean on a coin flip. And then for one colorless here, you do 40 for each energy attached to it. This is a kind of whatever attack. It's like Blissey. Yippee. Right. You like
Well,
that Blissey
no,
V.
I liked Blissey was well. No, it's first I liked Blissey. So and Blissey was a basic that almost had the same HP.
Yeah, it
Um,
had more HP, didn't it?
okay, I think it did. Yeah, Blissey's are tanky. The problem with it, look, I think that I like the ability, or I mean for the Pokemon for the card to make it better. I honestly for the game state I don't want this to be good, right? But unfortunately I don't think the card is good because coin flip games aren't fun. So like this, especially when these are coin flips that you attack and then you just don't know what's going to happen. But the attack on Cinccino EX isn't good. It does 40, but with the Blissey also I think was that 40 per energy, but that also accelerated energies to itself from the discard pile. So therefore, it got better. This one just does 40 for one, and you need to accelerate your energies to it, but you're probably not going to do it, right? In which
You can
case,
use you can use Delibird with ignition energy, and then all your ignition energies will fall off before your
uh,
turn.
so but all right. So is Blissey EX a surviving rotation, right? And we have
uh,
Ethan's Ho-Oh,
yeah, Ethan
right?
so you got like Ogre Pond. You could Mega Venusaur in Meganium and like Ogre Pond.
Yeah, so these are the ideas, and obviously these are all reaches, right? Very clear. So the problem is you're only going to get a couple energies.
Yeah,
So you're
with
not going to
ignition
do
you
more
can
than
do a bunch more damage.
one turn,
Yeah,
and then it falls off. But because of this is something you're trying to survive attacks. If you're going to win games, you're going to need to hit some heads. Obviously, survive attacks, which means you want to be ramping up the energy turn after turn. I would say.
yeah.
And so it's just not going to do enough damage, right? I mean, that's the problem. And then you're not going to hit enough heads unless you get a big streak of heads. You're just going to lose games with this card. I think is what I would say.
Yeah, yeah. So I'd say it's we're actually where do you put it? I think I know where you're gonna.
I'd probably put it at D tier, but it could go C tier.
Yeah, I'd say it's well. Let's see what do we got. Yeah, I'd say I think it's like right next to Goodra. I'd put it right above Goodra. I think it's a little better,
Okay.
maybe. Or no, I'd
Yeah.
actually put it below it. They're pretty close. Kind of similar
Okay.
vibes, maybe. In my opinion, they're similar vibes. But
Yeah. I mean, they're
okay.
different cards, but for successfulness, yeah, they're probably kind of close. I mean,
Yeah,
this is the attacker, so it's easy to build a deck with it, right? It's a
yeah,
stage one. It's one energy. You're just not going to win with it, but you know what to do.
yeah. And then we got the trainers here. These are actually pretty interesting. We got the first item here, or yeah, we got two items. So the first one is special red card, which says you can only use this if your opponent has 3 or fewer prizes remaining. When your opponent shuffles their hand and puts it on the bottom of their deck, then draws 3. I actually didn't realize it was shuffle put on the bottom. It doesn't matter that much, but yeah, this is I don't know. How good do you think this is?
Well, first, we need to talk about reset stamp. There's unfair stamp too, but it's a nerf version of reset stamp is what I would say, right? Reset stamp, your opponent shuffled their hand, their deck, and drew a card for each prize remaining, and that card's been banned. So
Yeah.
because it was too disruptive, so therefore it needed to be nerfed. So I think that's fair. Comparing it, your opponent already had to have taken 3 prizes at least, so that makes it fair, I think. And then they always draw 3, so you can't also put your opponent down to a 1-card hand. So it's going to see play. It may see a lot of play. I think you're good. I would think I'd be putting as a default a copy in most decks. I'm thinking. So it's pretty good. It does help control decks, but it helps all decks too. It's some nice disruption there. So, yeah, it's a good card. And this is going to be above C tier. I would have to think.
Yeah, I'd put this card in A tier, honestly. It's pretty good at disruption. It's not amazing, but we are losing Ino as well. You mentioned Unfair Stamp. Unfair Stamp is like a decent card. Post rotation, it's seeing so much play because there is so little disruption.
Yeah.
I expect this to see play, as you're saying, kind of like a one of in a lot of decks. Could make sense. We are losing Arvin, but we do have Team Rocket's Petrol to find this if you want to. Presumably not a Team Rocket's deck, because then you just Team Rocket's Archer. But yeah, you're able to mess with your opponent at a decent level. Putting him down to 3 is like decent. It's not amazing, but you're also not tied to like putting yourself down to a low hand size. So I think it's a pretty good card. Putting your opponent down to a low hand can always just like not work. And the more cards you give them, the less likely it is to work. They're not going to see the same cards because it puts them on the bottom. Well, unless they like shuffle or have a really small deck. But
right.
Yeah, ultimately, I think special red card is I think it's an A tier card. I think it's like a pretty decent card. I'd say it's probably like low A tier. I'd say it's like close to Watchog or Patrat, but I definitely say this is better as well.
All right, I'll go with you. Put it A tier. I think, and also we're losing Iona, which bumps the value of this as well. I think though that the Patrat's going to see more play than special red card.
Maybe I could see that happening, but I mean, like Shaman sees a lot of play, but like it doesn't like do anything.
I know you're a Patrat hater. I think I like special red card more as well myself, but I think I'm not sure that they should be at separate tiers, but we'll keep it the special red card A tier and the Watchog at B tier. I'm fine with that.
Then we got the next item here, which is actually you play 2 at once in order to use it, which is Book of Transformations. And what this does is you choose a basic Pokemon in your discard and switch it with a basic in play. And then any stuff on it and effects on it, including stuff like turns in play, are like now on the new Pokemon. This is the same as Thornton, if you're familiar with that card. Well, it's like not the same. It's an item, but the effect's the same there. Again, this is 2 items versus that being a supporter. Thornton was like fine, but that was more of a safe card. I'd say this is more in terms of like recovery. This allows you to, if you're playing say Charizard and you have 1 Charmander and 1 like other Pokemon, normally your opponent can go after your Charmander and then you can't evolve just Charizard. But then you evolve the or you turn the other Pokemon that was like say the Cleffa or whatever into a Charmander. Then it's been in play a turn already because it's Cleffa was in play last turn. So then you can evolve essentially instantly, which is like kind of cool and useful, though a little weird. I think it'll be hard to pull off with Book of Transformations being an item. You need to kind of search for it with like Petrol, and you already need 1 in hand as well. So it is interesting though. I think it's a really fun.
Yeah, I do want to make mention of the Sudowoodo, which we didn't include. I might have included it, but with the Sudowoodo, it's a basic 110 HP. It's got 2 attacks, but the attack that ties in this, it's got Learning Journey that you search your deck for 2 Book of Transformations, put them into your hand. Now, of course, it gets you to the 2 that you can potentially use the next card, but you can't use it that turn. And of course, you get disrupted. So Sudowoodo is not really good, which is why it's not included in our tier list because it just didn't make the cut. But I just wanted to mention that you 10 types were a huge fan of Thornton. I liked it too, but you really enjoyed using it. So I think you're gonna like using this. Obviously, getting the 2 is tricky. Also, what you could do is you can use your Pheasantipity EX, get the cards, and then you like switch into Megas Kangaskhan to attack, things like that. So besides the evolutions, you can, like I said, you can switch between basic, it just stay with the basics as well. So it's going to be fun. You need the 2, so you're going to play. I don't think I just put 2 in a deck because once one's prized or you have to discard one, it's a dead card. So you're either going to play 3 or 4. And knowing you're probably only going to do it once. So I would probably play 3 just because the odds of pulling this off twice in a game I don't think are good. So I'm probably, my general thought is I play 3 knowing I would reliably do it once, which is fun, right? Most decks still aren't going to use it, but it's a very fun card. So, how to rank it gets tricky, but it's a fun, I'm glad we have it.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's a card that has some interesting upside. You can do some like weird combo stuff. I'm not going to dive into it too much right now, because 1, it's like probably really complicated, and 2, I don't know what it is. It's like there's Kamala or something. But yeah, I mean this card's super sick. I don't think it's actually going to see that much play, unfortunately. I'd say it is going to be another card in the C tier. Here being like probably near the top of C tier, but it's like fine.
Let's make it top C tier because we like it, right? And you like it a lot, right? So we want it's C tier, and you'd be happier if it's even better than that. But it's a fun card. You can do stuff with it in terms of play, competitive play. It gets complicated, right? So you're making life too difficult competitively, but it's fun to use a card like this.
Yeah. Then we got the next card here, which is a supporter of Vox's performance, which says this is another control card. During your opponent's next turn, your opponent's poison Pokemon can't retreat. It includes newly poisoned Pokemon. It does. Poison Pokemon can't retreat. This is. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, it comes with the Mega Dragalge, right? So, which therefore it makes it so that they can't target get out of the active, right? So therefore, that's the idea behind it.
They take like an extra 160. It's like a lot,
right? Yeah. So it's a big deal with that. So I obviously you could do some control-y things with it, but it's mainly for the Mega Dragalge, but it's which isn't going to see a ton of play, and it's going to be probably worse. But it has to be. I would say it gets ranked below Mega Dragalge because I don't think it's going to see much use outside of that, and it's not even going to be. Well, it'll go in those decks, but I don't.
I don't know if it will go in those decks.
Okay, and it's not going to other decks, right? So
I don't know. I think if we have Brute Bonnet, then I'd like it more, but it's rotating. So or is Brute Bonnet rotating? I'm pretty sure.
That's right, because all those aren't
rotating. Not all of them. You got the wrong one. Forgot there's another one. Yeah, this is. So I think that this card is pretty bad. I think it's like D tier, personally.
Okay, D tier. Let's make it top of D tier because I think it's kind of fun. Although the Garbodor is not terrible either in the fun way.
Yeah. Then we got another supporter here, Emma, which says your opponent reveals their hand. Draw cards equal to the number of Pokemon in their hand. This is kind of whatever. I think it's pretty boring. I think it's probably okay. But I can't really ever see it seeing play. Actually, no, it's just no, it's bad. You're not going to hit many Pokemon off this. It's probably going to be like draw 2.
So it's good and bad. So in terms of draw power, it's bad. It's worse than like a draw 3 supporter probably, because like you said, you're drawing like 2 or something. Probably on average, it'll vary a lot, but it does reveal your opponent's hand, so it's a control card potentially. That's what it is, right? Are there control decks going to want the hand knowledge? That's what it's about. I still don't think it's even for that. I don't think it's great, but that's
Choi. So Choi's like awesome. Choi was a while ago, and each player reveals their hand, then you draw 3. Sick card, super underrated, super fun. Nothing good. But yeah, no, this is probably D tier.
Yeah, it's not F tier because it is a control option, so it's D tier. I'm sticking at what bottom of D tier.
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
It doesn't
Um,
matter too much.
yeah, I'm gonna get the last card here. Nitro Fire Energy. Cool name. It's a fire
Yep.
energy when it's attached to a Pokemon. It does not need to be a fire Pokemon again. And then if it's attached to a fire Pokemon and then an attack used by the Pokemon was attached to would discard it, you put it into your hand after. And I think this card's like super bad. I'm not gonna lie. But what are your
Well,
thoughts?
well, the question is, what's it designed to go with? Is there something that I'm missing that
I
wants
mean,
this?
there's like a lot of fire Pokemon that discard attacks. There's like the Charizards. But the issues
Yeah,
with like all of those, you're looking to usually accelerate a lot of energy. And
right.
then once you do that, like you're accelerating the basics, like it's basic energy. So like you can't actually accelerate this. So then getting it back to your hand doesn't even
No.
like matter. Not really. So I'd say this card is like quite bad. We've seen ones like this in the past that reattach themselves.
Yeah, that
Um,
would be. Yep.
yeah, but that doesn't do that, right? So is
Right. It
Boomerang
just goes to your hands. You still have to reattach it, and so it's not any better in your hand than a basic fire energy in your hand. So the value is pretty limited, I would say. So yeah.
I'd say D tier.
I,
Like you never know. Um,
yeah, yeah. It's not F tier because it's not complete trash. So
so let's put it up
we're,
next to Garbodor, which is complete trash now. I'd put it at the bottom of D, honestly.
okay. It's worse than. All right, that's fine. Worse than Emma there, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I think. Ultimately, the set is. I don't know if it's better than it like. We got some interesting cards here. A lot of them are quite bad. Or
Yeah.
no, a lot of them are like somewhat bad. I guess to be more accurate. But overall, I think Chaos Rising is cool. There's some fun cards in it. There aren't, the high end of the set's kind of meh. But there are
Yeah.
definitely some really really fun cards in the set as well. But what are your thoughts on the set as a whole?
I mean, it's gonna not be it's not a set that's gonna shake up the meta, right? So it's gonna
Yeah.
be one of those sets that may get really ripped long term because if people are tired of the format, this isn't gonna change anything, right? There's some fun things to play around with, but that's about all it's doing.
I think, as I said, I think I'm like the Patrat might make Dragon Bolt better. Um, I think that's something it'll do. I guess I
Yeah,
mean,
and
I could
that's
see it
not
in A
good.
tier, but I don't like it that much. So, and then ultimately, I am excited, obviously, as always, for new sets. But we'll kind of see what ends up happening with this set. But tell us in the comment section what your thoughts are on the set. If you think we misranked any cards, or if we missed any cards. As also said at the start, we didn't include all the cards.
Right.
There's, as said, the ones that we did include are quite boring and not good. But maybe we missed something there. But we hope you enjoyed the episode here. Make sure you like and subscribe to us on YouTube. It really does help support us on the 10 Types of Uncommon Fossil YouTube channels. But we hope you enjoyed. You can listen to us on podcasting platforms as well. Though if you do have comments, make sure you leave those on YouTube so we can see them. We hope you enjoyed, and as always, we're excited to see you in the next episode.
Take care.